What's going on, dudes and dudettes? So, yes, want to start off with a quick happy birthday to ex-USC Heisman winner, championship player, and one of the probably greatest players of all time, especially on the running back side. Reggie Bush, he had it the other day, his birthday. And obviously, he's one of the main reasons why I became a true USC fan. I knew the very first time I saw USC technically that I can remember earliest was when they played in the championship game against Oklahoma the year before his whole thing where he exploded for the Heisman. But once I saw that game and I knew that I just wanted to support a team that was from Southern California that was in a big thing. And of course it led me to here till today. And of course I followed his year, the next one, and he won the Heisman and obviously went off on so many teams. It was amazing and fun to see. And yes, they should have still won that Texas game. You could look back and see the highlights and see that 2 touchdowns were given to Texas, 2 long touchdowns, and they should not have been because knees were down or whatever. So, yes, they did get robbed, in my opinion, but yes, he is one of the main reasons why I became and still am a USC fan. So, once again, quick happy birthday to Reggie Bush. Then when it comes to a sophomore USC football player and Carson Tabarachi, he was a late transfer last year from Utah to USC. He was a straight up linebacker, but with a couple of guys like an Ethan Ray might have had a medical red shirt at the tight end position, so he might be done playing football as of right this second. And it's pretty thin out there at that position for USC, so he is going to transfer over to that position and play tight end at least for this season coming up. I know he was a running back in high school as well as a linebacker, but he's a pretty tall dude, like 6'2", something like that, and they're already adding some weight to look more like a blocking type of tight end also, so he might be switching to that fully. We'll see, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. I know, like, even during those Pete Carroll days, a lot of guys would come in, you would see them as a recruit as, like, say, a running back or on the offensive side, but then they would go to the defensive side and play like linebacker or something, or vice versa, stuff like that. So it'd be pretty cool to see what his future holds. Then when it comes to the top quarterback in 2024, and Dylan Raiola, he was once again at USC visiting with like a lot of recruits were this last weekend. And once again, he said it was another great visit. It always seems to flip-flop whenever he goes and visits one of these schools, because recently when he went to go visit Nebraska, they were leading. Then he had some type of thing with Georgia, and they were leading. And now they're just back at USC. They are leading in the crystal ball destination for him in the future. So, I don't know. We'll see. I know he probably doesn't want to come to USC because he won't play right away, at least for maybe the first 2 seasons. But then you think about you're still waiting behind a guy like Malachi Nelson. You only get 1 year, and you could show off as a junior, and then you could go to the NFL. So, sometimes all you need is just 1 year, and these guys get drafted really high in the NFL draft. So, we'll see. But it's positive news so far for the top quarterback. And then a 2024 local linebacker from St. John Bosco and Jordan Lockhart. He has been committed to Ole Miss for quite a bit. He's only a 3-star linebacker ranking-wise, but he is moving up just because a lot of teams are interested in him, and he is definitely one of the more hidden gems out here in California. He's one of the top guys, especially playing for one of the better schools out here in SoCal. But he did recently decommit from Ole Miss, and now I know a lot of people are automatically saying yes, he's coming to USC because he's a local guy, but he did recently visit Alabama, and then once he visited Alabama, then he decided to decommit. And I'm pretty sure it's obvious that USC has been trying to recruit him hard because he's a local guy, but if you have Alabama in the race as well, it could be a tough matchup. So we'll see how this ends up going, but at least we might have a chance. So you're saying there's a chance with one of these top guys, so we will see. Then when it comes to Jordan Addison, yes, one of the more recent interviews he did at the Combine, they asked him if he would like to reunite with his ex-University of Pittsburgh quarterback who is playing with the Steelers right now in Pittsburgh, and he said, why not? Of course he would want to get drafted there in the first round. So, it could be a nice reunion. I know teams like Cincinnati did that with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. And Jamar Chase was like a top 5 pick, which is crazy for a receiver at times, but it seems to work out good. He had at least one Super Bowl appearance, and Chase looks like to be the real deal as one of the top receivers in the NFL. But you could have an automatic to try to help out a young guy in your quarterback with a familiar face that he's used to. And when Addison was with Pickett in Pittsburgh at the university, Jordan Addison did win the top receiver in college football that year. So it could be a nice secure blanket for him, as they like to say. So we'll see. It could always happen, but kind of like him for the Chargers also. But we'll see. We need more of a speedster. He's more of like a Keenan Allen, possession, good route runner, but I still like him. Then when it comes to his combine, yes, he did go through a lot of the workouts, but he did have to stop a little bit early because he did have a back strain, which kind of sucked, but luckily it's nothing like too serious. So he looks like he might be able to still work out in a couple weeks at USC for the pro day. So good luck to him, and hopefully it's nothing too crazy. And then when it also comes with Andrew Vorhees, one of the top offensive linemen from USC, he did go to the combine as well, and it kind of sucked the way it ended because he did get injured also, which it sucked for him because he was pretty much injured throughout the whole entire year, and he had missed like the year prior to. But he's been one of these top guys that has been pretty much NFL ready according to a lot of these scouts and recruiters and stuff in the NFL. So he has a lot of talent, but he just seems to have that injury bug the past couple years, and it bit him during one of the workouts, which sucks. But it looked like he did. I think the news the next day was that he tore his ACL, but then I think it was today, the very next day, he was able to still get on the bench press, and they do about 220, so like 2 plates on each side, and he did about 38 reps, which is pretty high for even an offensive lineman. But yeah, especially for him, a guy who's injured and pretty much only has one leg on the ground because the other one was still in a boot or something like that. So that was pretty impressive. It does just suck that if you do draft him, even if you could get him later, like past the 5th round, because he's injury riddled so far early in his career, I think that's okay. But if you have to get him earlier than that, I think it might be a little bit of a risk, because then you're just going to be pretty much waiting for a guy to get healthy officially in his life, and then you just never know what's going to happen after that. So a lot of uncertainty, but good luck to him either way. Then when it comes to USC basketball, yes, this last Saturday they did have their senior night, obviously showing some recognition for Boogie Ellis and Drew Peterson, who were both transfers. Obviously Peterson was from Rice and Boogie Ellis was from Memphis, but also way of Duke, also his first stop in his college career. But yeah, these guys have been around at least for the past 2 seasons, so it's nice to see them grow. And obviously, Ellis has been playing very well, especially in this game. They were able to get the victory against ASU 68-65. Boogie Ellis had 28 points, Trey White with 13, and the other senior, Drew Peterson, with 9. Yes, it was a pretty close game. They were able to get a 10-point lead more towards the second half of the second half, which is in the college is the second part of the game. But yes, they were able to keep that, and then they kind of got close. There was a shot at the end. They were only up by 3, but yes, still able to get this victory on senior night. Congrats to those guys, and yes, they will be in the Pac-12 tournament, obviously, but they get at least one bye week, I believe it is. They're able to. I think they were the number 4 overall seed because they did lose to Arizona, so that kind of moved them ahead of them at the 2 spot, and then Oregon is 3 and UCLA is number 1 spot. So USC will be waiting on the victor of ASU and Oregon State, and then the next day they will play USC. And then if USC can get through that, because they were 1-1, at least they lost 1 to Oregon State, and then I know they beat ASU twice, I'm pretty sure. So either way, they should get the victory, at least when they first play. But the next round it will be harder because you most likely will have to play Arizona, who just beat you. So I don't know. We'll see. But yes, looking forward to that tournament starting at the end of this week. Then when it comes to visits, yes, a couple more visits and offers were going out for USC future players. So the 2025 number 1 cornerback, Jonte Gilbert was recently setting up a visit or planning to set up a visit, so that's cool. The top 100 linebacker Gabe Williams is also setting up another visit. I believe he's already been to USC. The 4-star defensive end Cameron Fountain, who's pretty much out there in the SEC territory area, so it'll be pretty interesting if they could get him officially committed. A 4-star running back in Jason Brown, another 4-star talented running back they're looking at. And then this one was also saying he was the 2025 number 1 cornerback, so maybe it's like different top 247 or on 3 or ESPN, whatever the rankings. But he's considered a number 1 guy, and they offered quarterback Ivan Taylor. So we'll see how this goes. If they, like I always say, the names I mentioned, if they could just get a handful of them, they should be fine, because they are excuse me, they are all very talented players and will definitely help out the team, whether on offense or defense. Thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Bye down.